join me today. All right, let's go to the Lord in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much. You are such an amazing God, and we are so grateful. Please take this show where you want it to go. Thank you for your angels of protection all around us. We love you. We praise you. We need you. We surrender to you. May everything we do and say glorify you. In the mighty name of Jesus, amen. All right. Good morning,
Good
Mayor.
morning. How are you doing, ma'am?
Good. How are you?
I am trying to de-thaw, but I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Well, now, when Laverne was leaving, she said it was 18 this morning.
It felt whatever it was cold. So next time I'm going to go home and just get in the freezer just to warm up. So.
I didn't realize it was that cold. But anyways, for those of you that don't know, this is Mayor John Edwards. He is from the city of Cedar Hill in Robertson County.
Yes, ma'am.
I love having him on just every so often to update me because I really enjoy your Facebook posts. They're so good,
Thank you.
Just so thorough, and I love all the detail to them. And every so often when I read a really good one, that's when I say, John, when can you come in next?
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I enjoy posting them, enjoy just communicating and letting everybody know everything. And, just to me, it's important for everybody to know that aspect of it. And so, yeah.
Well, you're so active, and I would love to see, all the mayors and all the towns, be as active. But I know that, you have a real heart for not only Cedar Hill, but for the whole county.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know that there's some things that I heard about going on yesterday that were pretty crazy. And so I definitely am going to pick your brain about that too, because I know you know a lot more about that than I do. But those of you that are tuning in, we have a lot of people now that watch from all over, now that we have phone apps. So people can, it's really easy to follow this show. And so now that we have that, we have people listening all over. So I want to let you guys know, Cedar Hill is probably the most beautiful city within Robertson County. Not to say you should move here.
I'll second that. Yeah.
It really is. And I know because I live very close. I live in the country portion. I mean, I have a Springfield address, but I live in the country closer to Cedar Hill, which my in-laws do live in Cedar Hill.
Yeah.
And so I'm really familiar with driving through it. And I love driving through. It's like, it just clears my brain. It's just, so there's nothing like it.
It's a special place. It's definitely a special place. I'm from more of the Cross Plains area.
Okay.
We've kind of moved around, bounced around, me and my family and stuff. And so landed in Cross Plains, went to East Robertson, graduated from there in 2006. And then a couple of years, we lived in Springfield for a while, Hendersonville. And so we landed in Cedar Hill a couple of years ago, my wife's family farm there. And, it's a special place. It grew on us, and got into doing the farmers markets, and that led to wanting to get involved in the decision making, and then that was
Okay, so first it was the farmers market. Oh,
yes.
Okay.
Wanted to kind of build that community, and then while we were building the community through the community events, I realized that we needed to further build the community up, through decision making and stuff. And so it's been 4 years now. 4 years.
Really?
So, yes. And so I just reelected, and so I'm excited for hopefully another 4 years, and Lord willing. And we've got a lot of exciting things that we're working on, and we just recently acquired 5 more acres for our park. So which has been a dream for not only me, but I feel like most of the folks that have been involved in our government. And so the ability to expand the park was great. Mm-hmm. We never thought we'd get the opportunity, so we jumped at it. So we're going to hopefully open up some hiking trails, and eventually those hiking trails will become walking trails. And we've got some there's a little bit of agriculture land on there, and so we're hoping to continue to allow that to be agriculture for the foreseeable future, and hopefully be able to make it. The goal is to where you'll be able to kind of hike and do these walking trails, and whatever crop or whatever is growing on that agriculture field, hopefully have a kind of a display of what this is, what the process is, and what the end result will be. So
nice, excellent. And what did you say the time frame ish?
We're going to be probably when it starts warming up, we'll get in there and start kind of clearing some initial hiking trails in there. We've already got the signs and all that stuff. So It's just a matter of getting in there and getting started. So that's
Now,
that,
is that something that like city staff is doing, or are you also taking like community volunteers?
usually it's the city. We've got a maintenance guy and me, and we've got Miss Marquita Pettis,
Mm-hmm.
Frank Kirby, which I think comes on here and does some
Yes.
preaching. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
he was just elected here in November,
Oh,
so we've got a really good board of servant leaders.
okay.
Love those guys, and I feel like we're gonna do some pretty cool things in Cedar Hill in the foreseeable future and moving forward. So
So how many members are there on your board? Is it three? Just three?
we've got three. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, nothing exotic or anything like that. There's three of us. There's a mayor, vice mayor, and city commissioner. And of course, we've got Kevin Breeding from, he's our city manager.
Okay.
Has been very, very good for Cedar Hill,
Oh,
and
nice.
has allowed us to do things that we couldn't do by ourselves. Because again, most of us, when you sometimes people think when you serve on a board that's your full time job, and it's not. That doesn't pay the bills. And so we have full time jobs that we work, and then we try to serve when we're not working.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes serving gets in the middle of working in the way of it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's been good. It's been good.
How many years did you do the farmers market before you became mayor?
We did the farmers market. I want to say it was maybe a couple months, maybe a year. It was
Okay.
right in the middle of COVID,
Ah, okay.
because everything was shutting down. We saw a need where a lot of the local vendors and small business owners, they didn't have a place to go because everything was being shut down.
Mm.
And our farmers market is more of an outdoor market.
Mm-hmm.
So it was kind of a way to get in there and create some business and get people just out of their homes and stuff. It was such a tough time, but people were just kind of caged up. And so being able to have an open door farmers market and get those local farmers and vendors into the market and get them selling and making money and to where they can support themselves and getting people to where they can come and be part of a community again while
Mhm.
everybody was kind of at home stuck by themselves. So
Right. Well, I love your farmers market, and I didn't realize that it was really fairly new. Really,
yeah.
you do such a great job with it,
Well, thank you.
and it's one of it is my favorite one to attend. It really is.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's not like one of the bigger ones, but I always come home with more stuff.
Well, that's good. That's good. I always tell we work hard on it. Sometimes it's a lot, but there's two aspects of it that I really love, that make me keep doing them. So one of the aspects is the community coming together, seeing people shaking hands, seeing people unite, sit at their picnic tables and enjoy lunch or supper together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other aspect is the business is doing good.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of how I judge each time I do it. The success of is how are the vendors doing, and if they have a great night, they're coming to me and saying, "Hey, we did great." That's always kind of the rewarding feeling. That's kind of the thing that makes me want to do it. And
Mm-hmm.
yes, we enjoy it, and then get to conclude that usually by the fall festival, which I absolutely love. And
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Now, when do your farmers markets start back up?
we'll look at, I think April.
April?
April is usually when we do it, and then we usually are pretty busy through the beginning of summer, and then summer it kind of dies down. You get a lot of schools are back in and sports and everything, and then we run into football games and that kind of stuff, and then so I tell people we kind of crawl through those months, but then like I said, it's kind of capped off by that fall festival when
That was
I'm
the
u-
last one.
yeah, I'm usually pretty tired by then, but the fall festival, I tell people, it keeps bringing me back each year. I'm like, all right, this is pretty cool. I enjoy this.
Well, I love that you guys have all the picnic benches there because that is a great time, and I always get to talk with people, and it's a real community feel, and
It
it's
is.
just so great
Yes,
to
ma'am.
have that once a month.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, it's like I said, it's something special. I enjoy it. It's good to see a community it's Cedar Hill is such a huge area, and it's unique in that we have our city, and that's important, and we legislate for the city, but the folks in the county are just as important too for us, and so we try to balance those out. And we're here to serve and invest our money and really work for the folks inside of the city.
Mhm.
That's our primary focus. But a lot of those outside, the Cedar Hill, it's all one. It's
Mhm.
all one. Just
Mhm.
like folks in Springfield, you have folks that are inside of Springfield, and you have folks that are outside.
Mhm.
And so it's your hometown, whether you're inside the city limits or not.
Mhm.
So
Yeah, it's funny because I just learned something a couple Saturdays ago. Paul is listening, and that was when I say Springfield, most people think of the city. So like, I know now to tell people that I live in the Fluellen area.
Yes, yes.
I was
Yeah.
saying Springfield, and someone said, "You're not in Springfield." And then they explained how people that have lived here a long time, consider like Turnersville,
Yep.
Stroudsville,
Yep.
Llewellyn.
Yeah,
I
I've
didn't
been here
know.
and I'm still learning some of those. We lived in Owen around. We lived in Royco Road going through high school, so that's the Owens Chapel community,
Oh, okay.
which is basically Cross Plains, but it's in Springfield. We've got a Springfield zip code, so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's always interesting. You start hitting those little pockets of it's those little neighborhoods and communities outside that are not cities. So
Right, right. All right, we're going to take a commercial break here, and this place isn't too far from Cedar Hill. I'm sure you are familiar with this sponsor. So let's go ahead and hear about Coldstream Camp.
The Dunn family would like to thank everyone who participated in the tour of Coldstream Christian Camp during Experience Robertson County. Coldstream Christian Camp is now taking reservations. Ministry workers, men's and women's groups, small churches, and families will enjoy rest, retreat, and grow in the grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Coldstream Christian Camp, partnering with families and churches since 1980. For more information, visit coldstreamchristiancamp.org or call 615-696-2208. 615-696-2208 and tell them Lee Marie sent you.
All right, Coldstream Camp just down the street from Cedar Hill. Probably, I mean, I know like Steve and Bernie. I mean, there it's probably like just about 5 minutes from their house.
yeah, that's quite a area over there. That's I mean, really kind of a not a ton of people I feel like know about that camp and that
Hmm.
those the how nice it is and just the area it takes up. That's pretty special area. I've anytime we've gotten to go out there, it's pretty unique as far the camp aspect of it. So
Hmm. And Roger and Heather Dunn are the ones now who run it, and their family is just—they're wonderful. They've
yeah,
they've come on several times now that they're a sponsor. It's great to hear the update. Matter of fact, it's almost time because I know they have like a fishing rodeo coming up.
okay,
Yeah, so we're gonna have to have them on, and they're also gonna do a spring work day where they need the community to come out and help
yeah,
with that.
yes,
So we'll definitely have you on Coldstream Christian Camp. So okay, we are talking to Mayor John Edwards from the city of Cedar Hill, right here in Robertson County, and it is one. It is such a beautiful. Like I was telling my sister yesterday, I said. Cedar Hill just it continues to remind me of puzzle boxes because as a kid growing up where I grew up, there wasn't a lot of beautiful area to look at
yeah,
except for the beach. And but when I would see these pictures and I mean the views in Cedar Hill, I said that looks like a puzzle box.
yes, yeah. Yeah, I've recently got into I got a drone a couple years ago, and it's amazing when you fly a drone up in the air and then you look at the footage of it. It's like it's amazing.
Mhm.
Just the you hear about rule, and then you get to fly a drone up how many ever feet, and it's pretty amazing just to see that the landscape and stuff, and you really appreciate it more. I feel like once you get up, it's beautiful when you're on the ground, but when you're up high looking at everything too, it's
Ah.
like it's just man, the Lord just can paint a pretty picture, and what He can do and what He has done is pretty amazing. Just to look at that, just
Hmm.
the creation. So
So Amy grew up in Cedar Hill then?
yes, she did. Yeah, mostly. Yeah, mostly she grew up there, and her dad had gone there to go to Joe Burns. Amy graduated from Joe Burns, so yeah,
Nice.
she's from that community, and like I said, it's been cool to work with her. She's people think that I do a lot of stuff and try to work on things, but I feel like when you're an elected official, it's really the family that's the
Hmm.
biggest thing.
Yep.
They're the ones that kind of hang in there while you're going out and doing farmers markets, and they're helping kids with homework,
Hmm.
and you're out at meetings and stuff.
Yeah, a lot.
Yes, yes, they kind of catch the brunt of anything that's going on as
And they're
far
in
as
the spot. They're
turmoil.
in the spotlight.
They are, and so it's a tough task.
Hmm.
Like I said, I feel like mostly, moms and stuff, they probably don't get the and stay at home moms and stuff. I don't feel like they get as much, respect and
Recognition.
appreciation.
Hmm.
Yes, recognition that they deserve, because they do a lot. I mean,
Hmm.
I love what I do, but she holds the family together. She gets the kids to usually to school, helps them with homework and all that stuff, and
Hmm.
that's something that's admirable. And again, her service and sacrifice,
Mhm.
for our family allows me to do what I do. And so it's,
Awesome job, Amy.
that's right. That's right.
Good. Awesome. Very cool. All right. So, is there anything in particular that you want to talk about with Cedar Hill before we just kind of talk about some general stuff?
No, I mean, I feel like I said, we're finishing up our clubhouse. Well, actually, we just started on the renovation for the clubhouse, but we'll be finishing that up probably here in a couple of weeks. And so,
I finally got to go in the museum. And
yes,
that was so cool.
yes, Miss Connie Lowe is the one that manages it, and it's pretty incredible in there just to see the history that she has gone and acquired and
Mhm.
brought back and managed and secured and preserved. Pretty incredible once you get in there, and then you see just how big and such a wide, diverse range of the history of the
Mhm.
community is, and so she does a ton and has saved the history, a lot of history, visual history
Right.
of Cedar Hill. So yeah, she's always adding and we're always working to do things. We've started kind of selling new shirts and stuff like that. And so, like I said, wrapping up the clubhouse, this will be our final renovation for it, doing the kitchen, bathrooms, and all that, kind of making that ADA accessible. So it's always a project. I'll be glad when we finish that one up, and so
Mhm.
we'll I'm sure start on something else. I'm always try to about 20 projects ahead in my mind. So
And during this renovation time, is it still available for rent or is it not?
no,
Okay.
yeah, right now we kind of shut it all down and let them get in there and knock everything out.
Mhm.
And so we're putting some new flooring and stuff down, which will be really nice. So it's going to be good. It's going to be something, a real asset to the community, and be a good space for the community and folks to gather and have their events. So
All right. Now, if some people are listening and they are interested in a future rental, is there a particular number or email that they should contact that you want to?
yeah, usually it's easier to reach out to City Hall.
Okay.
And so that number would be 615-696-4802. So yeah, we keep a calendar in there. Also rent out the pavilion and stuff. So, and it's nice because it's
Oh.
got the playground and everything right there. We've got outdoor bathrooms, to access.
Mm.
Shouldn't say outdoor bathrooms because they're actually bathrooms. They're not, you don't go outdoors to
Right,
the
right.
bathroom. So clarify that. But it's good. It's a our park is it's kind of like the gym. It's the focal point of our community. And so the
Mm.
more we can invest in that and make that nicer, the better. So
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, this is Mayor John Edwards from Cedar Hill. And so, some general things, because I know you've been, looking out for Cedar Hill to make sure that, a lot of the beauty is preserved and that, the growth is being done, but in a, responsible way.
yes, ma'am.
And that's one thing I really admire about you, because we know of some nearby cities that, haven't done that. And so I really appreciate that you do that. So do you have any just kind of in general, like I know I heard yesterday there was a meeting, I couldn't go, but there was something being proposed. Now I thought it was 300 homes. And then someone said, no, it's 3,000.
Yeah,
Now,
that's
those are
that's
3,000 homes?
yeah, that's the number that I've heard. I was thinking 1,000, which would be a lot. But
And this is all in Springfield?
from what I understand, yeah,
Okay,
it would
okay.
be from basically 49 over to, I think that's South Main Street, and bump up against that Bratsford community.
Oh my gosh,
Yeah,
3,000. That is a lot.
it is a lot. It's a lot. I think when I was running last night, I'm a math nerd. I'm not great at math, but I'm a math nerd. And so it would, when I was running the numbers and stuff on it, it would be equivalent to, if I'm going to try to get this right, I'm sure I'll be corrected if not. So it's the equivalent of like a 40.5% growth rate,
Mm.
from 2020 to 2023, I think, or something like that. It was like a 3.8% growth rate for Springfield over those 3 years.
Mm.
So a
Oh
40.5%
my gosh.
growth rate, it would be the equivalent of like 33.75 years of growth in just one development. That doesn't include all the other things that are going on.
Oh my goodness. That is crazy.
It is. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy, something like, it's like, I think I was looking up census numbers, and it's like 2.64 people per house is kind of the average in Springfield.
Hmm.
So it would bring, I think it's around 70 7,750 around there, between 75 and 8,000 new additional people,
Oh
I
my
believe is what I looked
gosh.
at. So, and I think the current population is like 19,000. So, I
Wow.
mean, you know,
Oh my
40% is,
gosh.
it's pretty crazy. It's pretty
So
crazy.
what is the the status of that? Is that just the first, are they just
Yeah,
proposing
I
it?
think it's kind of the preliminary. You know, the developers have kind of met, as far as I know. And again, I try to keep up with some of this, and a lot of people have asked me to kind of keep track and let people know, you know, especially from these communities and stuff. So I feel like right now it's kind of in that initial phase of trying to get kind of support for it. Most of it's in the county, based on the city limits.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, so there I would imagine there'll have to be, you know, some rezonings. I think most of it's zoned Ag 2. I think from what I was looking at the zoning map.
Mm.
So there will have to be some rezonings. There'll have to be some annexation, to get it into the city, I'm sure. So it's a lot. There's a, you know, long process ahead, and we'll see how it turns out though. But I
Yeah,
know.
that just seems crazy to put 3,000 people right there.
It is. It is. Well, it's like you have to look at things. You know, I try
Actually,
to.
wouldn't be 3,000 people, it'd be 3,000 homes.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
like almost 7,000, 8,000 people.
yeah. If that, and like I said, that's the number that I've
Wow.
heard. I haven't seen that in black and white, and I don't know
Okay.
if they would put that in black and white.
Yeah.
That's just kind of what I've heard.
Well, goodness,
Um,
even if it was 1,000 homes, that's still
yes.
too much.
Well, like I said, I was kind of freaking out because it was. I thought it would be around 1,000 homes, but to hear 3,000, I'm like, surely that's not right. And I keep hoping. I'm like, maybe that is wrong. But you know, you look at traffic. That's again 40.5% growth rate. It's huge. It's just mind boggling. And then you have to look at your schools.
Oh, yeah.
You know, being right there. I think when I was trying to look at like the school zoning map last night,
Hmm.
a lot of those folks primarily will when they're in high school or middle school. Most of the middle school students would go to Coopertown, um, and the high school they would go to Springfield High School. Well, Coopertown, you know, when they did away with Springfield Middle, a lot of those students transferred to Coopertown, and so I had originally pulled some data from like I think it was like the 2020 to 2021 school capacities for all of those schools. And so I think in 2020 to 2021, Springfield was like at 98% capacity. Coopertown, I would estimate it was at something like 63%, but I would say it's probably grown by at least 20 to 30 with the
Mm.
addition of Springfield Middle School. So you're probably looking around 85% capacity there. Um, then you start looking at some of the elementary schools. West Side, I believe, was West Side was actually 102% capacity just a few years
Mm.
ago. So I don't know how that
Wow.
how that looks. And then the elementary schools in the area, they ran from 75 to about 83, 85% capacity. So, yeah, you're talking about a big dump. And, you know,
Mm.
the cost for building a school, when I was looking it up last night, I think some of the comptroller numbers, it was like $51 million per school, you know,
Mm.
and that's a big number. And developments, residential developments, do not pay for themselves. That's kind of one of those
Mhm.
things. Everybody's kind of like, well, we need new schools, so we need to sign off on this development because it will help generate the money to do those, and it doesn't. It's a net negative. It doesn't
Mm.
it doesn't produce the income from those residential houses to pay for itself.
Mm.
And that's not my opinion. Those are facts.
Mhm.
There's a report that states those facts. Um, so the folks that are going to end up paying for the development will be the taxpayers in some form or
Mm.
another. And so and not only that, but again, I'm in Cedarville, so I'm not going to receive the brunt of this development. But a lot of the folks in that area will receive the brunt of that.
Mhm.
And that's a unique community there.
Right.
The
And I just reposted that map on my
yeah,
Facebook page. So if you guys are like, where exactly are you talking about?
yeah,
I just reposted. It was on John Edwards' Facebook feed, but I also just posted it as well. So if you want to just see what the area
yeah.
is that we're talking about, Lee Marie with just Lee Marie, and there's a white circle as my profile picture says rule number 1 in black.
Yeah.
And You can look that up,
but it's
or you can go
crazy.
to John Edwards' Facebook page as well.
Whichever. So, but yeah, it's a pretty. When you look at that map, I mean, I got one guy that was pretty mad at me. He was like, "Man, you just shared this map." Well, that was what the Springfield, that they've done good about communicating. And I mean, they posted it on Facebook, and there was it let people know the developer was going to be at the library. So they've done good. I mean, a lot of cities could just say they're not going to communicate that. So Springfield, the city, has done well with communicating that and putting it out, which is good. But yeah, it's just, I mean, I think if I'm correct, the largest development in Robertson County, I think, is the parks in White House, which we won't even get into how White House is. But it was like 775 houses or something like that.
Oh, really?
So you're talking about 3,000. If that's the number, like I said, that's the one I've heard. But if it's 3,000, that blows that out of the water.
Yeah, that is crazy.
So
All right, well, it's 8:30, so we're going to do another sponsor break. We're talking to Mayor John Edwards from the beautiful city of Cedar Hill. All right, let's hear from one of our sponsors.
It's a new year. Time to book an appointment at DK Styles and Tanning. They offer haircuts for everyone: styling, color, perms, waxing, spray tan, and tanning beds. DK Styles is a big supporter of our military and first responders, offering them haircuts for only $20. DK Styles is conveniently located at 3538 Tom Austin Highway in Springfield. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 7, and Saturdays, 8 to 3. Book an appointment online, mysalononline.com, or call 615-384-8999.
Join me,
And
Lee
tell 'em-
Marie. All right, this is Lee Marie back in studio with Mayor John Edwards. Thank you, Miss Anna, for telling me my mic was too low. I'm bumping it up right now. There we go. So I appreciate you guys watching on Facebook and putting comments. There's always room for you to list comments or questions on the Facebook feed. We do look at those, and or you could just say, hi, I'm watching.
that's right. That's right.
But, I'm on only every Wednesday morning from 8 to 9. That's the Go Show. I do go over some calendar events, so I will be telling you some things that are happening tonight and tomorrow and this weekend, because I love to see everybody out in the community. I think that is just a great way to just build community. And, it's if you have, depression or anxiety or anything like that, it's just so good, for your body in so many ways. So I always like to tell people places to go. But then also just remember, U-Turn Laverne has her show every Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. And then, of course, every Friday is her Faith Friday. So that's also another good way to hear from the community and also to post questions and comments as well. So anyways, we are talking about Cedar Hill and Robertson County. And we just talked about a development that is being proposed in Springfield. So I went and I posted that on my Facebook page, and you can take a look at that. But I just wanted to have Mayor Edwards on to just remind me about some of these other things that are involved with what to watch out for and how to make sure that we stay so beautiful.
Yeah. We've and I'm like I said, this is kind of more of a city thing, which I try to generally stay out of, because bigger cities, they have more infrastructure than say we do. They've got municipal grade things, and that's kind of their shindig. But try to look out for folks that are there and that are going to be impacted by it every day. But another thing I usually focus on, of course, is I'm big into the private wastewater stuff of, learning about the regulations of that. But we really try to focus on, the preservation of farmland, which kind of goes hand in hand with managing that growth. And so I think primarily, I think we lost about 9,500 acres of farmland from, I believe it was 2014 to 2023. So that's, this UT had done a study earlier, I think it was late last year to early last year, and just kind of showed and tracked all of the farmland loss kind of throughout that area. Like I said, in Roberts County, we've lost 9,500 acres just in those around 10 years. We average, just based on that, about 1,000 acres every year of farmland lost. And then by 2050, if we kind of keep that pace, which I would assume, again, 2014, for a lot of those years, we weren't experiencing the growth that we've experienced in the last couple of years. And so, but if those statistics hold true, and we're not building a development that's 40.5% growth population rates, then we would be on track to lose probably about 26 to 30,000 more acres of farmland. And with that, it's, I mean, not only is it farmland loss, but that's a lot of really what Robertson County is known as. And we had anytime you post on Facebook, you're going to get the good and the bad of things. And we had one guy that was kind of like, well, this development, it's going to be good. And, what does the farmland produce that's helping anybody and that kind of thing. And so it's, farmland is not only quality of life. You're growing stuff that feeds, the world. Here we are, the breadbasket, in the United States. And so it's a big thing. And, to look at that. And again, as far as cost, we talked about a while ago, as far as the cost of what it costs for residential development. Agriculture development is a huge, it's massive in size as far as agriculture, but it costs the minimum for anything. So it actually generates more revenue than what it costs as far as upkeep, because you don't have to worry about widening streets and intersections and schools and all that. So it's kind of, I feel like, misunderstood and probably underappreciated by a lot of folks. But it serves a very important, role, from runoff to absorbing rainwater. It's just as important in other aspects than it is. And that's why you're seeing kind of in different counties that are not counties, but states, some counties, I guess, in Tennessee, but they're moving to more of the purchasing, kind of like the land use rights and easements and stuff to allow agriculture to kind of go on there, because it saves money. You may have somebody that's be like, well, I can't believe that you all would invest money into paying for somebody to keep something farmable. But it saves money in the long run. That's not only that, but you get the quality of life. You get the wildlife as a place to be. You don't displace them.
Right.
You've got a farming community. You've got those open fields of agriculture. And the more you can buy those farmland use rights and easements, not only does it provide those farmers a revenue, especially you've got a lot of older farmers that are looking to get out or looking to generate some kind of income for the farm. And so it kind of lowers that price to where you can have more younger farmers kind of enter that market. And that's going to be key moving forward, not only for us, but just the U.S. in general, is just to have those, have that second group of farmers, those young farmers that are coming out of schools that wanted to get into it, that aren't going to be priced out by land prices, because that's the difficult thing is the thing that drives up agriculture prices and rent is the development aspect of it. If when you have a 200 acre property or 300 or 400 acre property, the value of that property, what you will resell it for, is 10 times greater if they can develop it. And so if they can't develop it and it has to stay maybe a smaller density, if it has to remain agriculture, then it's not as, it doesn't resell. It still has its value, but and again, that's kind of what keeps those prices lower. So it's a sacrifice that everybody has to make. And we have a 60, 70 acre farm in Cedar Hill, and we lease it out and they farm it, and so which we love. But it's something that we do to continue to preserve our farmland and preserve that agricultural aspect of our community. And again, that's important.
So have you ever done like a little talk on that, like to explain to other people, how they can do that? Or?
Yeah, well, we've got several conservation companies that we've worked with, and we've actually been talking to one about preserving some of the wetlands on our area to kind of put it into a perpetual, security and safety area to where it will be preserved outside of development and stuff. But there has been, I want to say that maybe Cross Plains, some of the folks in Cross Plains have kind of talked about bringing in a company. There's several of those that really work, not only for farmland, but just, like wetlands, forested areas. There's a lot of folks that are in there that are really help. I mean, the National Wildlife Federation, I went through a presentation with them a couple of weeks ago about some wetland stuff, and they were kind of educating and teaching us on it. And so there's a lot of resources out there. And we probably need to do a better job, I feel like, as city and county and all of us probably need to do better about,
Educating.
Yes, yeah, and giving them those resources that
Because there's a lot of new people,
There are.
to town.
Yes, yes. So just communicating them, letting them know that those resources are out there, and did have a couple months ago. I was fortunate enough to kind of go to the Republican. They had their whatever it is on Saturdays. I want to say
monthly
potluck or
breakfast,
breakfast, which was delicious. But was able to kind of go out there and present a lot of our stuff with them and the wastewater aspect of it, and got a lot of really good questions. Got a lot of good questions. We had a lot of feedback and back and forth and picking each other's brains, and it's amazing. When you start talking to people about things, just the lights go off, and it's kind of like, oh man, I didn't know that, or didn't think about that, because it will ultimately will impact our generation, my kids. I mean, I've got one that's fixing to go in high school, which really makes me feel old, and then I've got one that's in elementary school, and so those with the population and stuff like these people are going to need farmland to be able to survive.
Right.
I mean, you look at the devastation in California, and unfortunately, a lot of times, I feel like as folks that are in the area, they're kind of like, oh man, there's California people coming, but traditionally, a lot of those California people are leaving because of the policies. California is light years ahead of where we are. They've already reached the future of where we're heading.
See, that's the thing, and that's how I feel when I hear of certain things that people are wanting to put up. I said, I've been to the future. You don't want that.
Yes.
That's why I'm here.
Yes, those people are fleeing, the future and coming here to get something different. I'm like, where everybody's leaving, you probably don't want to continue that same aspect of things. Yeah. Doesn't sound like it's pretty common sense to me on that. So.
Yeah. All right, we got to do another commercial break here. We are talking to Mayor John Edwards from the beautiful city of Cedar Hill. Let's go ahead and hear from one of our sponsors.
Nothing can compare to the down-home customer service that you receive from a small-town, family-run drugstore like Southside Drug Company. Stop in and talk with the friendly staff. They've been specializing in hometown customer service for over 100 years. Store hours are Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. For more information, visit SouthsideDrugCo.com. Be sure to tell them Lee Marie sent you.
Now is the time to clean out that shed or garage.
Okay, this is Lee Marie with the Go Show. And of course, I always say that I'm going to give you some stuff. So here we go. I am going to bring up my Facebook page. So if you want to do that real quick, we will have a few more minutes with Mayor Edwards after this, but I'm just going to do a little break here to tell you about some things to go to. And that's another thing, guys. I heard someone on the radio saying, oh, this Friday is the official day that we can all stop our New Year's resolutions. No. Come on. Are you a quitter or are you more than a conqueror? What does God say? Come on, guys. Double down. So one way you can double down is get out there in the community and hang out with other people that are positive and that are also working on their goals. And so I'm going to bring up my Facebook page real quick because there's actually a movie tonight. Have you seen the Bonhoeffer movie yet?
I have not.
Okay. Well, you can see it this Saturday night at 6 p.m. at Epiphany Church, and that is Epiphany Baptist at 211 First Avenue in Springfield. That is a free event over there. And Mark and Pam Stone are the new pastors over there, brand new, starting January 1st. Also, tomorrow morning at 7:30 is Good Morning Robertson County, and I cannot recommend going to this enough because this is something where you're going to get updates from not only the chamber and different events that are happening, but also the county and also the city of Springfield. And so, whether you live in Springfield or not, it is our county seat, and you are going to be there a lot. So this is a great briefing. It's a half hour once a month. It's free. You don't need to be a member of anything. They don't check you off. You don't RSVP. Just if you can show up, you show up. This one is going to be at the City Hall in Springfield. And so you get to hear some great information. So that is tomorrow morning. It's always the usually the third Thursday. All right. And okay, here's a couple other calendar events. Oh my gosh, Jimmy Fortune. Okay, let me bring this up. I know this is in Portland, which isn't like super duper close, but Portland we still have part of Portland in our Robertson County.
That's right.
And Jimmy Fortune is going to be playing on Saturday, February 1st, 7 p.m. at the Temple Theater. And if you haven't seen him live, oh, what a treat. So I just wanted to put that out there, guys. There's also, I don't know, have you ever been to Fiddle D Farms to see any of their musicals?
I have not.
Okay, so that Linda has, my fabulous assistant out here. Fiddle D Farms has an amazing Christmas show every year. Well, this year they're also doing one called Crazy Little Thing Called Love, and it's going to be like February, March. So make sure you guys check that out. I'm sure it's going to sell out because it's not as many days as the Christmas show, but super top-notch production. Anyways, there's Recovery Sunday, and that is going to be this Sunday at 10 a.m. This is in Springfield at the Reformation Bible Church. And let's see, what time is that? Let's see, 601 Locust Street, and that looks like 11 a.m. But anyways, you can go to my Facebook page to find some other things. Of course, today's Wednesday, which means there's some great midweek services at a lot of the churches. Robertson County has a lot of fabulous churches here. So if you're not part of a church family yet, make that one of your New Year's resolutions, guys, because you're missing out. I think we have 3 church families. We're members of one church, but we hang out a lot at 2 other ones.
Nice.
So
Okay.
that's one thing I do want to mention. Also, one more event I do want to mention, because you gotta get signed up for this one. Heart and Soul. I think I might have sent it to you and Amy. Let's look this up. Fluellen Baptist is doing a couples night, and it's going to be February 8th. And let me bring that up here. There we go. It's for couples, either married or engaged. And let me just bring it up. Fluellen Baptist, and this is in the Fluellen area.
That's right.
And here we go. And it starts at 5 p.m. on February 8th, right there at Fluellen Church. And it's only $20 a couple.
Nice.
You would think it would be $20 a person, but that includes dinner, a live band. There's also going to be some prizes, like a raffle type of prizes, and just some wonderful things, some little games, and just a great time for couples. So guys, if you don't have anything yet planned for February 8th, this is open to the whole community. So you don't need to be, a member of anything, but it's just for couples. And that is February 8th at 5 p.m. This is a great way to earn some points, guys. Tell your wife, like, oh, I think we should go to this date night. So I will be there, and I'm super excited that they're doing that. I'd love to see the churches do more couples things, more marriage ministry stuff, because there just doesn't seem to be a lot. And we all know that the enemy is after the families and after the marriages, and so we need to guard our hearts. And so anything that we can do to keep that from happening is great. All right, so we have 10 minutes left. I do need to do a couple more sponsors real quick, and then we are going to wrap things up with John Edwards. And I know that he has a lot of great posts also on your Facebook page. And so if people want more information, your posts never seem to be short.
No. Unfortunately, I've tried to get better about what I've begun to do is just breaking them up into multiple posts.
But it's good.
It is. And it drives everybody insane. I know it does. But there's so much information, and I guess I've got to go try to figure out.
Great.
Okay, well that makes me feel a little better.
It's not. They're beefy, but they're not boring.
Yeah.
And they're all. I like to see. The research or whatever, your sources. And so you're not just saying like, hey, this is bad. Whatever. You're like, this is what this will do, and this is what this will cost, and this is what happened right next door, or whatever. Like, they're good.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
No.
I try to put a lot into them. I try to, one of the biggest things, and I've been doing this for a while, is the first thing that somebody will do on Facebook is to say, you're making this up, or somebody will, that's kind of one of those things that it kind of get thrown out there. And so I always try to link it and direct people to, this is not just, it maybe my opinion on something, but these are the facts behind that opinion. And I feel like that's important, because that's ultimately what it gets down to is that's your opinion, but tell me the facts of your opinion. Tell me why you think the way you think, and so that's I try to do that. And again, I know they're beefy, and I like that. I'm gonna start calling those beefy posts. Trying to get better, but there's a lot of information to put out there, unfortunately, and so I try to do it all in one post. I don't like to breach it all out. So,
all right, let's go ahead and hear from Ridgetop Mower.
Now is the time to clean out that shed or garage. Ridgetop Mower offers free equipment removal, service and repair of mowers and small engines. And now, service on kerosene heaters, wick replacement, and service for all torpedo blowers. Same-day service on most repairs. Pickup and delivery available. Ridgetop Mower open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday and 8 to noon on Saturday. Call Gary at Ridgetop Mower 615-855-0044 and tell him Lee Marie sent you.
At the UPS Store, we have everything to help small business owners be unstoppable. So if you need printing, we'll be the printing store.
I need help printing brochures. My at-home printer became self-aware.
Of course, the UPS Store can print. Wait, you said self-aware?
Yeah, one day it was saying it was low on ink, and the next it was saying it wanted to rule the world.
Weird. Well, whatever you need, we've got you covered.
The UPS Store can help small business owners be unstoppable with our printing services. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. The UPS Store locations are independently owned. Product, services, pricing, and hours may vary. See Center for details.
That is it for our sponsors. Thank you, sponsors, so much. I think we have full spots now, so you can't sponsor now. You have to get on a waiting list. Anyways, we appreciate y'all out there listening, and we're talking with Mayor John Edwards. We're just talking about his posts, so if you haven't been to his Facebook page lately, I would go to it. You're gonna get schooled.
Yeah.
They're good, and I read them all, and that's what made me think to call you is, and not this last one, but I think it was like about a month ago or something.
Yeah.
Something, and I said
it was some kind of, I think it was talking about brownfield sites.
Okay.
Instead of sacrificing farmland or the development, we went to Chattanooga. Earlier this summer, we decided to just hop in the car and do a road trip all the way from here through Missouri, Iowa, South Dakota, just kind of make a trip. Went through Colorado, saw Mount Rushmore and all that stuff, and so it was good. Badlands, which are incredible. If you go anywhere, go to the Badlands. But Chattanooga was one of those ones that really struck me, because you go to Chattanooga. Where was it? St. Louis. So when you go through St. Louis, it's so beautiful inside, right there where we stayed. It's the nice downtown area. Your walking distance is pretty short from the arch and everything. But then you get outside of that, and it's horrendous. Like, there's just so many areas of abandoned warehouses and stuff. And it's just, it's sad, because again, those areas are perfect for, development of new warehouses and factories and or housing, so I feel like that's an important aspect to look at is to let's take these sites that are already in existence and let's make them something instead of building something else, because to me it's kind of counterintuitive to go and build a nice new factory and development down the street and you've got an abandoned one right here. It just again, use what you got. And because we've only got so much of what we do have, so.
And that's a great point, because like I know even in Springfield, there's a lot of buildings that are not attractive. They're just sitting there, and so how much better would it be to put some housing there, or something that will take, the eyesore away instead of taking beautiful farmland away.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, like solar panels and stuff, but let's put solar panels on top of buildings. Let's put them over a parking lot. Let's put them in a brownfield site where it's already like that.
And for those people that don't know what a brownfield is, you want to explain?
Traditionally, it's like an abandoned lot, primarily like industrial, commercial lots and stuff that aren't being used anymore.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of the broad definition of a brownfield site. And a lot of those sites have already the infrastructure is already there. It was supported at one time, and so it's easier to tap onto that or retrofit what's there compared to having to do it in a completely new area. So makes sense. Like I said, the process of growth, whether it's industrial, commercial, residential development. It's a complex process, and there's a lot of factors into it, and there's probably some errors that you're going to make, some things that you're going to do that's going to work. But it's a process that's important, and it's long, and I probably spend way too much time thinking about it than I should. But again, with growth, you've only got one shot. That's ultimately at the end of the day. So let's make decisions that treat it like that. You only get one shot at this, and I feel like when I sit down and look at developments and stuff, that's what I go by. Again, this is when we let this out of the box, it's out of the box. Whatever.
It's like toothpaste once it's out.
yes. And so either it's going to be messy and all over the place, or it's not. And so, again, and I feel like sometimes when we talk about like responsible growth, there are certain segments that are like, oh my gosh, y'all don't want any kind of growth whatsoever. And that's, when you look at it, we are responsible growth, not no growth, because there's going to be growth no matter what. There's going to be some type of growth. So we're not fighting against all growth, because we'd just be the no growth. Responsible growth is building it in a way that fits, communities. I had to post the other day about, because sometimes, I had a builder come to me and they said, I take offense to when you talk about developers. Because I'm a developer, because I develop land to put a house on. This person just puts one or two houses up. And so then I was like, well, let me kind of come up with the definition. I feel like it's important. Sometimes I just generalize things. And so the definition of a builder would be they build a house in a community. So they add to a community. A developer builds a community of houses, and that it becomes its own form, like Bransford, that is such a great community. There's such a rich history there. You look at Bransford and what they've tried to do with the Bransford Project and different things, community centers. And then you're just kind of, with this development, you're just kind of completely rewriting that history of that area. And gentrification, you see that a lot in Nashville, where you have lower income and different segments of the population are pushed out because of the increase in, prices and the change of character and stuff. And that's kind of what we're looking at. And I'd hate for people that have been here for so long, through so many generations and generations to come, to be priced out of their own community. Because I don't feel like that's appropriate. I don't
Right.
those folks need as much right and say as somebody a developer has. So
Yeah, and you're right. It's such a complicated, issue. And I know that I was reading some of the comments on the post about that big development. And one person, I think they were from the senior center. I don't know if you saw that comment.
I don't know.
Yeah, they said what we really need, because they said, we don't have a middle school in Tennessee, and bringing all of these homes with children, they said what we really need is a place for more senior communities, because there's so many seniors. They work at the senior center, and they said that was one of the top complaints, is not enough affordable housing for seniors. And I know, like, senior communities are wonderful. I have some of those ladies that drive in from like Pleasant View and different ones to come to my line dance classes that I teach, and they love their senior communities. And I thought, that's a good point, is, that's not going to be, weighing in on the school system,
Yeah,
so.
yeah. And I mean, that's exactly right. I don't, it's something you don't see, much of as much. But it is. I mean, you got the baby boomer population is the largest population in the United States. And those folks are getting older. And so, giving those folks an opportunity to live somewhere. And again, those people don't want to, they may want to live in a small development, but they're not going to, folks aren't going to want to live in a 3,000 person development if you're elderly. That's just, I know that they've talked about putting a park and different things in there. I heard 10 sit down restaurants, which I don't, I don't want to be negative on it, but that's awfully hard to imagine as 10 sit down restaurants. So what is that definition is?
Yeah.
But again, it's a population that we need to invest in folks here, communities here, Bransford, their community, the homeless shelter, my father's house. That's something we need to get behind and back and get done. I mean, you look out with the weather the way it's been. I mean, me driving in today, with my less than ideal heating in my truck. It's cold, and you know, people, we deserve to look after the most vulnerable of our population. And again, that's a fine line of doing that, because you don't want to socialize everything, but you know, I feel like as Christians and community leaders, we're called to look out for that population and look out for those among us.
That's right. I'm glad you brought up My Father's House, because I did want to mention that real quick, that they are having a fundraiser, charity dinner and auction, silent auction, February 1st at the Robertson County Fairgrounds. So doors open at 4. Silent auction is from 4 to 6:30. Dinner 5 to 6:30, and then a live auction at 6:30. And that is only $25 meal ticket, spaghetti dinner, provided by Torino's. And so they're going to have raffle tickets and different things. So that's a great way to go ahead and support them. All right. Well, we're already at 9 o'clock. So thank you, Mayor Edwards, so much for coming in. And again, you can get a hold of him. Private message on Facebook, probably the best way.
That's right. Yeah. So
that's what I'm finding these days.
Don't blow me up. Don't blow me up. I struggle sometimes, but yeah.
But you might want to go on his page and just read some of the recent posts, because it's like an education. I mean, it's really great. They're very impressive posts, and I love reading
my beefy
those.
posts.
Yeah, your beefy posts. All right, guys, you've been listening to 1100 WSGI, and this has been Lee Marie. I will be back next Wednesday, and then, of course, don't forget, every first Friday is the Wild Doc. So make it a great day. I love you. God bless you. Double down on those New Year's resolutions, guys. Don't be quitting them. You're not a quitter. Come on, you're more than a conqueror. This has been 1100 WSGI.